Do you hear sleigh bells? I could swear, although it's 89 degrees today, we can hear Christmas is coming, and we have a brand new selection from hot off the press. Christmas floral plaids. They are gorgeous. In fact, wait till you see the projects that Debbie has created. And here is just one using the chipboard and the papers and the dazzles and just so much beauty all together. Won't you please come play with us? Well, before we get into the projects, let me just show you what the products are. So I'm going to slide these over. There is a product video on every single one of the products, so you can get a close-up look at every single sheet of paper and every single cutting die. But let me just show you right now. So this is the 12 by 12. There are 12 designs, 12 sheets, 6 designs, double-sided. And there are also cutouts. There are 52 cutouts. So let me just show you. So here's the first sheet. As you can see the plaid, you see the flowers, they're all in Christmas. You see the pine boughs. And here is the back side, another plaid for you. Here's the next sheet, just absolutely gorgeous. And the back side, you can see how useful that's going to be. And here's the next one. So teals and reds are what's going on here. How pretty. Here's another. Lots of things you can do. This one brings in some holly and also some splotches of kind of a dull gold. Here's the back side. Here's the first sheet of our cutouts, and these are the larger ones, along with 2 rows of borders. And on the back side, we have yet another plaid. And then these are the other cutouts. And as always, most of them contain greetings, but some of them just have the art. You can overlap, you can layer them with the cutting dies, with dazzles, with whatever you like. And then that is on the back side. So you're going to get 2 each of those in the 12 by 12 size. And in addition, there's going to be a scrapbook page and a card. That is on the back of the package insert. But I have the scrapbook page right here for you because I just really wanted to show that to our scrapbooking friends. And you can see that that's the one sheet that has the flowers, has the plaid at the top, has kind of the gold in the center. And Debbie has used this with one photo, and she's matted it a couple of times. This is part of the die cuts. This is the chipboard, the cutting die, all sorts of things going on there. Just really special. Then we also have, of course, coordinating solid colors, and these are perfectly going to match. And there are 12 sheets, and what we do in order to get 12 colors in the package, on one side we have one shade of green, and on the other side we have another shade. You can see the red is kind of a deep red, and on the other side more of a true tomato red. We have a pink and a lighter one. We have a tan and kind of a gold. We have a burgundy and a white and a green and another green, because you're going to need those for all of the pine boughs and all of the greens that go into the collection. So that's going to work so nice. Then we also have the same thing in 6 by 6. Now I'm not going to go through those papers again because you just saw them, but it's the exact same thing, except we give you 4 sheets of every single design, and you're going to get, instead of 52 it's 52 cutouts, you're going to get 104. 104. How neat is that? Then we have the die cuts. Now there are 32 in the package. We'll back up just a little bit so you can really see that. And there's my whole package of stuff over there. And you get 2 different sheets. Whoops. You get, I guess I got the same one. Okay, you get 2 different sheets, trust me. And so they also are going to have some greetings. Some of them will just have the art, again, so that you can layer. And there are 2 card ideas on the package, so that just gets you started perfectly. Then, to make sure that you have everything together, we have chipboard. And our chipboard is just really so unique. It's 6 by 6, but it also has these lines that are cut into the chipboard, not all the way through, but just to give you the design. And I'll show you some ways that Debbie has used those. Also, peace and joy as part of it. And finally, we have the cutting dies, and there are 17 of them. You're going to see these beautiful sprays that work so well. 'Tis the season is the words. Then we have flowers in roses and in poinsettias that will layer. We've got the pine boughs, we've got the holly. Everything is right here, so that's all going to work perfectly. Now let's get into our projects. And here is the first one that I showed you in the beginning. And isn't that beautiful? So you can really see what a nice job the Plaids do playing with the flowers. And Debbie has used, let me just show you what she did. So this is a 5-inch by 6.5-inch card. So she first covered it with the red, and this is the solid red, as you can see right here. And that's just, well, I've covered it up, haven't I? But you're just going to cover that whole thing. Then she took a gingham, and it is this gingham. And it's on the other side of the large cutouts, which she has also used. As a matter of fact, she used this one right here. And that's the perfect thing to do with these. These are really designed to be kind of like what our friends in England would call card toppers, a large graphic that's going to just do really well to hold anything special that you want in your focal. So first we're going to trim this down, then we're going to mat it on the green. As you can see, she's done. Place that on her page, and then she has taken, as I said, this one. You can see that she matted it on the red and foam taped it in place. But before she foam taped it, she did something neat with the ribbon. And this is out of the red ribbon pack. You're going to want to have this handy for Christmas because it's going to work really well. There's lots of different, there's gingham, there's dots, there's plain reds, there's even baker's twine. And she has used the glitter ribbon that is about 1/4 inch and wrapped it around this piece and then tied another length in a knot just right here, then foam taped it onto the front of her card. That just works so nicely. Okay, but we're not done yet, so let me show you what else she has done. So the chipboard is right here, and as I told you, it's got a lot of things on it. And she took the Peace and Joy. Now, Debbie used the Versamark ink pad with the embossing powder and a heat gun. You can do that. The other thing that you can do is use the gold Delicata ink pad. So whichever one you want. And she has then placed that onto one of those die cuts. Now I have a chance to show you that there really are 2 sheets. Here is the second sheet. And what she did is she took this particular one, and you just pop them out. They're just going to pop right out. And she attached her Peace and Joy, her gold one. And then she went into again, back into the chipboard. Can you see how beautifully, in fact, we're going to get even closer onto this chipboard. See how beautifully it looks onto, with all of those lines already cut into it. So she used a marker. This happens to be a light green one, and just colored those branches and then placed them. Now this happens to be a branch like this, but her berries are red. So Debbie used the shiny red jewel dazzles. Now we have a glittery red and the shiny red. Obviously she used the shiny red and just placed those on top of the berries. So you can see right here, that's what she's done. There's 2 sprays right there. So that just really takes care of it. But there's one more thing, and I thought this was really brilliant. We've got in Plaids, we've got a lot of straight lines, but in this particular cutout, the Plaids are just over here and down at the bottom. So she took the colorful straight line dazzles. This comes in a package with 10 different sheets, and placed the thin ones. There's wide ones and narrow ones. She placed 2 narrow ones over on the right-hand side. And it's just going to add more sparkle, but I think it does a great job of kind of duplicating that look of the plaid. So good job, Debbie. Okay, on the inside of this card, we've got the same, pretty much the same tools used. So this plaid happens to be the back side of this. So that's going to work nicely. You might want to cut this out first just to make sure that you don't trim into this area. And the Merry Christmas to All, well, that's out of that same die cut piece. There's 2 in the package. And then she's got a strip here, one of the borders, and then she has layered and finished that off. More chipboard, beautifully done. You know, I especially love how this just goes right around a circle or an oval. It just kind of nests right in there. So that's also what the cutting dies will do. So we'll just close that up and move on to our next card. And our next card is a Slimline card. And it comes from the set of Slimline cards and envelopes, looks like that. And what Debbie has done is she has used the 6x6 pattern cardstock for this card. So let me show you what she did. So this is the sheet that she used. And in fact, this is the one I believe that was the scrapbook page in 12x12, so that works. And she first covered her card with the dark green, just like I showed you in the first one. That's what this green is. So simply just covered the card. And then, clever woman that she is, she took this sheet and cut it in half. So she had these two bouquets or floral pieces on the sides. She glued one over here and the other one right here. Now, of course, she did have to trim them to fit inside her Slimline card, so that worked. So then she had a gap in the middle. So what did she do? She cut a green piece. This is 2.5 inches by the 3.5 inches of the card. And then she matted it on the red and just created this piece right in the center. Now, have a cozy Christmas. Well, that is one of the die cuts. And where are you? There we are. Have a cozy Christmas. You'll notice that the art carries the flowers and the plaids, and so everything matches. Everything matches. It just lets you get started playing and not have to scurry about trying to find things that will work. So this is going to get foam taped, but look at all of the holly and the foliage going around that. How pretty is that? Well, that comes from the cutting die, as you can imagine. It's another way that those arches, those curved pieces, just work so beautifully. And then you can fill in with some pine, some holly, and we have several greens in the solids, and so that's going to work well. She did die cut out a couple of the individual poinsettias out of the red and just tuck those in. And then she also added the bow out of the red set that we had in the last card. And then once again, we have those shiny red dazzles, jewel dazzles. And as I flash this, you can see them. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention. There is a border die cut going across the center there. So you're going to want to put that on first, okay? Okay, so that's the beginning of the front. And then on the inside, well, what she did is, like I said, she's using 6x6 on all of these, and this is the 6x6. So she used the bottom part in the front, so she flipped it over and used the top part on the inside. Did the same thing, had the green solid cardstock, put this in the middle. She did mat this on a red. You can see it's a very narrow mat, and glued it in place. 'Tis the season for believing. Well, that too is the die cut. Foam taped in place with a little bow, red bow. And this again is the spray from the cutting die and some of the shiny red jewel dazzles, as you can see. Just really, really pretty and very festive. Okay, isn't that gorgeous? I love that wreath that she's created. That would be a beautiful piece just also on a card by itself. Okay, we've got another one, and they're going back to our 5x6.5 inch card. And you know, I'm noticing something right now that I don't think Debbie had on the list of materials. So I will go back and add it before you see it. But she rounded the corners. Look at that, how pretty. But first, she's going to cover that card. So let me show you what she did. This is the sheet that she used. This is the 12x12. This area over here, see, yeah, let me show this to you, is the area that she used to cover her card. So she first covered her card with this, and I'm not sure if you can see it. Can we get in really close? right down here, there is some gold, and you'll see bits of printed gold. Can you see that? It's not going to shine because it's in ink, but it's there. And if you wanted to, you know, we have that new fine line gold pen. You could go over those and make them very sparkly and shiny. Now, Debbie didn't do that, but just a little extra hint. Okay, so take this area of this sheet and cover your card. Then punch the corners with that corner punch. And then she also used the letterbox red. And it's letterbox because in England, where these are made by Hunky Dory, their mailboxes are red. Of course, ours are blue, but this is a perfect red. You will want this for all of your Christmas creations. And use your blender brush and just go right around that card and add that red touch. And you can see, okay, so let me show you. Here is the paper before. It's going to go right there. And there's the paper after. So it does just a really nice job. Now, she did some other things that I thought were really clever. Do you see this large cutout? Well, it comes from the other side of the sheet. In fact, let me show it to you. Can you see that? So she just trimmed right around that and foam taped it in place. And it does cover up this piece, but it looks so lovely. And that's something new. I don't think we've done that before. Now, the ribbon that she used in the beginning, that is also used and just kind of tucked under. She has another of the die cuts right here, and that is, here it is. Oh, I'm sorry, I lied. That is not a die cut, that's a cutout. That's out of the 12 by 12 sheet, so there it is. Just trim that out. And here is a holiday hug. That is a die cut, and it's right here. Here is a holiday hug. And look what she did. She punched holes in each edge and ran the ribbon under there. So just flipped it through and threaded it through. Now, there's some things going on too. Do you see these? And some birds up here. Those are dazzles, and this is what they look like. This is the Winter Birds Dazzles. You can see we've got some cardinals, we've got all kinds of things. And the way to do this, just in case you have not experienced this, let me just get a piece of solid and I will pull out one of the birds. How about this one? Okay. And all you do is put it, you know, anywhere you want. There we go. I used to tell people in classes to put things in the middle of your paper, use what you want and then throw it away, and that way you can buy more paper, but I don't do that anymore. Now, I'm going to find my scissors. These are the precision scissors, and they've got a very short blade. That's a really good thing because it makes it easier to trim. And I would first start by cutting this out because you don't want to have all of that paper kind of flapping around. And then all you'll do is let the edge of the dazzle kind of guide your scissors. So I'll start here on the breast and just go right like this. And I have to tell you, I'm doing this without my glasses on, and I don't know why, but I will be getting my glasses before we finish this webisode. And you just go right around and just kind of let it guide you. Now, if you are a paper cutter, you know that the best way to do any cutting is to hold your scissors straight and move your paper. And that way, it just is, you're going to get cleaner cuts, and it's going to be less tiring for you. Okay, I think that's enough. Now, when you get to something like the feet, just lift them up like so. Come on, little feet. Of course, it's not cooperating. Okay. Like I said, it's really hot in here. Okay, so I'm going to pull them up. Then I would simply go right underneath and trim the paper. You want to make sure that you don't cut those little feet off too. Then when you lay this down on your project, those feet will be there, okay? Just like that. Don't be intimidated by what they call fussy cutting. I kind of hate that term because it makes it harder than it is. It's really not hard, and you're going to get some beautiful looks. Now you can also do what Debbie did, and you could take an ink pad or you could take a marker and just kind of do a little bit of darker color along the breast, maybe the tails, maybe the wing. Same thing with this little birdhouse and this little bird right there. Now these are solid black and they're all on that same sheet also. So there's some fun things going on. Now inside the card, that same sheet was used, same letterbox red, and this is a one of the cutouts, the die cuts, excuse me. We've got the cutting dies right here. We've got the flower, and we've got another little bird perched right there. So just a beautiful look. Okay, I have one more project. Okay, here is our last card, and this is a 6x6 card. And Debbie started with placing the fold at the top, so rather than at the side. And she did cover the whole piece with the dark green, so that solid cardstock just really comes in handy. Then she took this sheet and placed it like so, as you can see. That's going to go just straight onto her card front. And that will take care of that. Then she did a couple of other things. She used the circle cutting dies that I had here. Oh my, okay, let me grab them just a second. Okay, here are the circles cutting dies. And as you can see, there's circles and scallops. You get 12 of them. So what Debbie did is she took the middle one here, or kind of the second from the outside circle one, and die cut a circle, obviously, out of the white cardstock you have in the package. And then she did use the Versamark ink pad and went over it. And then she covered it with the gold embossing powder and then tapped off the extra and then heated it with a heat gun to melt that embossing powder. Now you don't have to do the whole circle. You can just do kind of the edge of it. That will work perfectly. If you don't have a heat gun or you don't have the Versamark or the embossing powder, you can go back and use that gold ink pad. That too will give you a gold. It will be reflective. And be something like this one. So that is something else you can do. But she then also used the next smaller die to cut out the green. And then she used a smaller solid. Now this plaid is on the back. Remember, this is on the front of it. It is, whoops, it's on this sheet. In fact, it's on the back of this sheet. So it's a softer plaid. It's not as kind of in your face as that plaid is. And that's exactly what she wanted. So she cut that circle out, and then all those pieces were just glued down, and then she foam taped that circle to the center of her card. And you can see with the art, and let's see, it's this piece, how that really is just perfect. So perfect for scrapbooking in the 12x12 size or in the 6x6 size, but also perfect for a card just like this. It's just asking for a focal point, isn't it? Now, she did use the chipboard, and the chipboard, once again, just to keep you there, she colored it with green, and so you can just tap that with the ink pad. She's used these pieces, and she did it in a brown. And then she also layered. We don't usually see the chipboard layered, but this time she did, and offset them so it really is a full point setup. I love how she put the tan in the center and then did the red on the edges. The other thing that she did, can you see? We're going to get in closer. Go ahead, Jeanette. And can you see the sparkle? Well, that is with the Wink of Stella, and that is just in a pen. And all you do is brush it on, and that's going to give you that sparkle when it dries. So that's a really nice touch too. So we've got a lot going on there. And then just to finish it off, she's got some of the gold jewel dazzles, and there's 540 on that sheet. On the inside of her card, she used that same paper, and then she also did the same gold out of the scallop cutting dies, and then did another circle out of the same paper. 'Tis the season for believing. Well, that is one of our die cuts. She foam taped that in place, and then again, there's some more chipboard right there, and more of the dazzles just highlighting those flowers, and that is our 6x6. Now, I just realized that she actually cut this out of the green cardstock, so you could use the 6x6 cards, which I did list for you, or you can just take the green cardstock, cut out a piece that is 6 inches by 12 inches, score it in the middle, and fold it in half, and that's what Debbie did. Perfect, isn't it? Okay, well, that is a good roundup of our collection. So let me just go back and tell you what's in it. We've got the Christmas Floral Plaids 12x12, the Christmas Floral Plaids Solid cardstock, both of those. We have our die cuts. We have the 6x6 pattern cardstock, same designs. You just get more of them in a smaller size. And we have the chipboard. And we have the cutting dies, which you've seen used multiple times, all of those. We do have a money saver. And you know, we always keep those on the right-hand side of the screen, so you are just welcome to take advantage of that. Speaking of which, let me tell you what else we have, you know, getting ready for Christmas and all. If you are signed up to get our emails, you will get an email that will give you a download. So this is the one part of the cutouts, and you can use these as often as you want. Just feel free. And in fact, that one was one that was used, as I recall, and that's just for you. If you happen to have signed up for our VIP program, now all you have to do is sign up at checkout, because you don't really have to do much. I guess you just have to spend money. So when you total $500 over 12 months, you will get an email, and you can get sheets of the paper of the next release. In this case, all of our VIP members got 6 sheets of the Christmas Floral Plaids, and that was fun. And also, if you would like a subscription, we have some to offer. And the first one is I Want It All. Well, that means you would want everything except the cutting dies. I don't know why you wouldn't want the cutting dies, but just in case you don't, this is the program for you. You will get everything, not the cutting die, everything else. You will get them at a 20% discount, my word. And you will get them before this webisode. So that way you have a chance to play with them. And because every single package has ideas on the back, you can jumpstart and get started on your creating. Now, if you say, Paulette, I really want those cutting dies, and I would say, well, of course you do, dear. Then it's called I Really Want It All. And that too is available. Same deal, 20% off. You'll get them before the webisode. And once a month, we have a new collection. So that will be 12 in a year. And everything is different, of course. So that is the other offer. So we have lots of goodies to share with you, in addition to Debbie's wonderful creativity. So Christmas Floral Plaids is the beginning of our holiday season, and it is available now. And all the pieces are here and just waiting for you. And Debbie has a list of what she used down below in each card. Just click on it. There are no written instructions. I've told you what I can in a video, and I think you can just look and see what it is. So that would be nice. All the products are listed too, just to make that super simple. Okay, I want to thank Debbie for sharing her creativity. I think the woman is brilliant, by the way. And I want to thank you especially for being part of our Paper Wishes family. And I forgot my YouTubers. Okay, if you're watching this on YouTube, you know the drill. Like us, subscribe, head on over to Paper Wishes. By the way, Paper Wishes is the only place on the planet that you can get these. Yes, that's right. And we're happy to share them with you. And So that is what we would appreciate your doing, is like us, subscribe, head on over. If you want to take advantage with the Money Saver, if you want to pick and choose what you like best, that's just perfectly fine too. Okay, so again, thank you for joining us, and thank you especially for being part of our Paper Wishes family. We'll see you tomorrow.